She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Hope you guys are doing great. Thanks for being here. Inhale. Okay. I've got to remember to breathe every once in a while, but I am thrilled you guys are here. It's Saturday night, 2 full hours of the Paranormal Portal, so what could be better? Well, that it's not only me, but my good friend and co-host, Mr. Dan Longbeard, huh?
Who keeps letting this guy in, eh?
I know, you just...
Guy.
Like, you just keep coming back, man, like a rash. No. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Stage 3 baby butt rash.
Stage 3? I didn't know there's stages.
Something I heard on Baby Boss Baby.
Boss
today.
Baby? Okay. Well, that's good.
I don't know. Something like that.
How you doing, though? Good?
Yeah. It's been good.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, thanks for asking, huh? No, we're doing good, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 hours of all this mayhem that you've come to love on our show here tonight. We hope the Saturday Night Creature feature, so which is just a clever way of saying we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, including creatures. It's all in how you brand it. You always got to work towards the branding and bring out that excitement. So I hope you guys are excited to be here. I, of course, am excited to have you here. Thank you, everybody, for all the piling in that you're doing. I was just looking. There's nobody in TFR chat at all tonight.
Wow.
So it's all up to you, YouTube, to represent tonight. So I hope you guys are showing up and spreading the word. Please, by all means, spread the word and let people know. Feel free to take this stream and copy it out, put it out there so other people can come to love the portal, too, if you don't mind. That certainly helps us a ton. But at least please like the stream. And if you're not already subscribed, get subscribed to those of you on YouTube. We'd love to see you stick around and be a part of what we're doing for as long as you're willing. Anyway. Yeah. And for good is great, but if not for good, then for as long as you're willing. So we got a lot of stuff to get through tonight. Am I forgetting anything, Don? The phones.
Oh, phones, yes.
The phones are always open here on the Paranormal Portal unless we've got a guest on. Then sometimes we don't open up the phones just because we've got a lot to get through with the guest. But there's no guest tonight, so it's just Don and I and potentially you.
Whoever may call in.
Yeah, exactly. How, may you ask? Well, you just simply pick up the phone and dial 720-923-0500. and that'll get you to the Paranormal Portal hotline, where you too can become a part of what we're doing and a part of the show. And you can share your very own paranormal experiences right here on the show. So that's always an option. Otherwise, if you've got a lot to share and you'd rather be a guest on our podcast, you can certainly do that by reaching out.
Yeah, we like guests.
We do. Reaching out to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us. We'll be certainly doing our best to watch the phone lines. I don't know. Let's see. I guess all that's left on is just to get right to it, right?
To dive in.
Just to dive into this buffet of love.
Buckle up. We're going in.
This is oh no, I don't know if this works. Let me click this. Is that working? No, they pulled the video. Never mind. I can't even cover that one. It was a video that's coming out of a Polish forest, and it basically was saying a mysterious creature resembling a Nightcrawler was filmed in Polish forest. Now, the Nightcrawler, as I understand it, is basically the pair of pants marionettes that walk around. And I'm not a big believer in the whole Nightcrawler thing at all. I think that the videos, at least the videos that I've seen that depict that, just seem like, I don't think so. They got like clothy legs and stuff, and so it's just some extreme marionetting going on there. In my opinion, I could be wrong, of course, but now I will say I believe there's all kinds of things that we don't understand and know about that exist in our world. But I don't think a pair of pants running around is one of them. So that's just me. It's my opinion. What do you do? But that's just my 2 cents. There was, however, a video attached to this that I was kind of curious to show you guys because I wanted to see what this looked like. This other version, of course, I think many of you, if you've looked into the paranormal at all on YouTube, you've probably seen the Nightcrawlers, the Fresno Nightcrawlers, and those are the pants walking through the forest. That there's like a big pair and then like a toddler pair that are walking through the forest, and it's cute, or along a road. I don't know. I guess it's possible that it's something, but I just don't buy it personally. It just looks way too much like a marionette. There's no structure to it. It's just all leany and stuff, and it looks like pants just being clopped along. Oh, look at that! It's a cryptid. No, it's not. Not in my opinion, anyway. Now, again, full disclosure, I think there's a whole host of weird stuff out there that is real. These just aren't one of them. So I was going to share that with you, but it doesn't give us a lot to work with other than a little bit of a narrative. I guess I could read the narrative part of it. It says, and maybe this video is out there somewhere, but it looks like it's been pulled down, and that's usually not a good sign either.
Hold on. I think I found it.
Really?
I think I found it. A Polish man discovers a nightmarish creature hidden in the middle of the woods. Let's see. Well, please go ahead and read it.
I'm going to read the article anyway. Yeah. It says the mysterious video starts with the person heading into the darkness as screams in the background are heard. The noises get louder as he moves further into the woods. He then points his flashlight in front of him, and there appears to be a white creature right before him. A disturbing growl originates from that same area, and the creature starts moving. But the cameraman turns around and run in fear before we get a closer look. Numerous believers said the creature was a legendary skin crawler. Oh.
Skin crawler?
Well, maybe this is a different one. Maybe it's more like a rake. Or Nightcrawler. It's called a crawler. They are likely carnivorous and have been sighted all over the USA and Canada, one commentator suggested. Another said they're probably one of those most common cryptids, actually. It might be curious of you. What? It might be curious of you, so make sure to lock your doors. Yeah, that's a creepy thought. It is hard to find details on the cryptid due to the poor quality of this footage, but Nightcrawlers appear to be relatively short creatures, approximately 1.5 meters, with most of their height being made up in their legs. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like the thing I'm thinking of. As they possess an extremely small upper body. It's also extremely thin, white humanoid with no discernible arms. A larger specimen appears to have webbing connected from each knee to the torso. I don't know. I would like to see what they've captured. Maybe it is something.
Let me send this right over to you.
Is it? Is it
I'm
what's described?
fairly certain it is.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look at what Don sent us, ladies and gentlemen. We might actually,
Do-do-do-do.
we might be able to save this story.
Do-do-do-do.
Let's see what the bead sent.
Oh, come on. Gosh.
Garsh. My mom always
Garsh.
just say Garsh.
Garsh.
Oh, Garsh.
I gotta wash my clothes.
What the hell is Garsh?
Gotta wash them.
No, she never said Warsh. She was actually a real stickler on words and vocabulary.
Wrench. She never had to wrench them.
Nope, she never
Had to
did.
wrench her clothes.
Never wrench or warshed or anything, but she would say, "Oh, Garsh."
Okay.
I'm from Minnesota, though, so you can kind of expect it there, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
There it is. Let's have a look
There
at
you
what
go.
the beard was able to provide for us here. Huh? All hail the beard.
You might want to make it big and buff.
Sorry. Anyway, I just,
okay.
yeah, let's let it just go. It'll go. If we ignore it, it'll walk away.
Like a Nightcrawler in Fresno.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at what we're seeing here because if it's dorky, well, I'll show it either way. I don't mind dorky
Well, you
videos.
You should make it full screen no matter what.
Yeah, I will. I'm just taking a look at when the hot part starts here.
Right in about there.
Right in about there. Okay. Well, no, we'll look at it together. I can't see anything anyway, so let's pull it over and I'll let you guys view it with me. View it. All right. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Let me drag this out of the way. And we're going to go back to the beginning here. I'm not going to do the sound because, you know.
It's going to be in Polish anyhow.
Yeah, it's a Polish scream. As you know, it's just probably the same as a U.S. scream. Here's the, yeah, you know what? I should probably turn the camera on, huh? Yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So this is apparently from YouTube channel Leviathan.
Leviathan.
And I'm not sure how much he's recorded of this kind of stuff. I don't know of any reputation this person has. You know, I don't know. I think if people are going to go to the trouble to post it, hopefully there's something substantive there. But of course, we know YouTube is absolutely crawling with hoaxes and stuff. What is this? Oh, that's it. Okay. Let's see what it's... Yeah, turn your light on. It's hard to see. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Okay, is that all we see?
I believe so.
Okay, let's have another look at that. Oh, come on. What did you do? I don't want to watch the whole thing over. What's going on? No. How do I replay it?
I don't know.
I'm not even sure either. Something just went to hell on this thing. There we go. Let's go back up here. It's trying to catch up with me, ladies and gentlemen.
It's trying to catch up with him.
What the hell is... What is this?
It's the next
It
video.
says Tracy Cox revealed. Never mind. That's not me, ladies and gentlemen. That is definitely the video. I don't know what happened, Don.
I don't know.
We
it
definitely
got done and it automatically went to
the next one, yeah, which is the best positions for enjoying yourself, I guess, which is not part of the Paranormal Portal.
What's the URL? So can you right click and
no,
nope.
It's an embedded player. So this is. I just want to get back to the part where he's actually seeing something, and we'll blow it up here again. I just want to look at it one more time here, as we. Where the hell did my mouse go? Oh, I love this site. It eats my mouse, Don.
Wow.
See, there it goes.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. There it is, sitting, I don't know, I can't even point at it, really. I don't know why you would shut off your light, though. Yeah, I can't do anything, dude. All right, well, that is the video, but it sounds like it's, there's nothing there. No, you did great. You did wonderful, but unfortunately, I think the video itself is obviously nothing to really go on.
Right, yeah, there's not much there.
No, there's not much there. Could it be? I don't know. I guess anything's possible, as you'll always hear me say. But is it? Probably not. I'm going to go with probably not. Don, what do you think?
Probably not.
Probably not. Reminds me of the old evidence reviews, huh?
Yeah. Nothing to see here, folks.
Nothing to see here. Just move along.
Moving on.
All right, let's continue on. Great to see all you guys coming in. Wow, there's a lot of people here. Who's here, Don? We should do a who's here.
Who's here?
Who's here?
Oh my gosh.
Who's who on the portal?
Who decided to show up tonight? We've got Aaron, Big Rob, Black Tree, Mr. Naysay, Cha Cha. She's very active in the chat right now. Cookie Jarvis, Digger Dog, Terry. Ethan's here. Heather, Jessica Mink. Hi, Jess. Joey Hayes. Kylie's here. Long Island Bigfoot. MCat. How you doing? Mary Bond. Ruger Ridge. Ruthie's here. Sandra's here. Salsalito Media. James just popped in. Shell Dion. Hi, Shell. How are ya? Squatch Naka. Steve Simmons. Farms here. Oh, and there's the unknown. Titan and YTFP Chris. Pappy Two Bears popped in while I was doing my little call-outs. And Gnome Squatch. I think there was a couple others, but you know.
Gnome Squatch, yep. I saw that one pop in. That's what I was going to make sure you saw that.
Yep,
and special thank you to Michelle. That's awesome, wonderful. We love you bunches. That really means a lot. Thank you so much. And make sure to hit those likes, folks.
What did I miss?
I don't know. What'd you miss?
I don't know. Let's see.
There was a
thank you. Yeah.
Super chat.
Super chat. Woo-hoo.
Super chat. So yeah, that's really cool. Thank you all for being here with us. We got lots more to get through here. So the next thing is this, which I find very interesting. Again, you know, it's one thing to say how many Earth-like planets there are in a galaxy.
Long Island Bigfoot. Thank you.
Long Island. What? Oh, he did too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed it. Thank you so much, man. You guys are awesome. Just thank you so much. That's so cool. So this is an assumption that's being made. I have no idea what is their basis for making this assumption. But let's check it out together, shall we? And this is from animalien.com. It says, there may be more than 30 extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy.
More than 30?
More, Don.
In our galaxy?
In our galaxy, allegedly.
Wow.
So let's see what it says. In recent studies conducted by scientists searching for extraterrestrial civilizations, they found evidence that in just a few decades we can find life outside of our planet. At the moment, the chances of finding life in space have increased significantly because the equipment, spaceships, and other things that are required to effectively conduct a mission to study the stars and planets have been improved. It's practically impossible to calculate exactly how many potential extraterrestrial civilizations can actually exist, which makes me wonder what the hell they were thinking with that headline then. Okay. But scientists from the University of Nottingham approach this issue from a completely different perspective. Researchers are confident that in our galaxy, in fact, there can be more than 30 civilizations. There should be more than 30 civilizations in our galaxy, given that for the development of intelligent life on other planets like ours, it takes about 5 billion years, said Christopher Counselis, the author of the latest study. The idea of this study is to consider evolution not on such a huge scale as before. A similar calculation was called the astrobiological limit of Copernicus.
Okay.
This calculation suggests that on average it takes about 5 billion years to form intelligent life. In the case of our planet, civilization has been fully formed already in 4.5 billion years. Experts added that if there is intelligent life on other planets that exists about the same time as on our planet, then in total there can be about 36 civilizations in the galaxy. Scientists plan to continue research in this direction to obtain more accurate evidence to this theory.
Wow, how nice of them.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. I think that there's been civilizations here a hell of a lot longer than we think there has been. Well, I mean, we on the show have covered things like, again, we referenced it last night, but the Artifacts Out of Time, and we referenced it last Wednesday, where there's these hammers and screws and machined aluminum in hundreds of million-year-old rock and stuff like that, which suggests that intelligent life / civilizations could develop much earlier than that, I would think. Right?
Yes.
Because, how long is the preferred belief about how long we've been people?
Right.
What is it, like 15, 20, 30,000 years?
Well, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So essentially they're saying the Earth is apparently, 4.5 billion years old, according to what they're saying.
Right.
And so it basically takes that long from the formation of the planet to harvesting or incubating life that can grow into civilizations. But I think we've been doing this a lot longer. And if not us, then something's been doing it, because those hammers didn't put themselves in rock. Those screws didn't just form
right. Screw
naturally. That's not by glaciation.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
It's from the volcano corkscrew.
The volcano corkscrew.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff doesn't form naturally. Hammers with wooden handles don't form naturally inside of rock. And so if those things are at all true, and possibly they are, I believe they are. I don't know. Maybe that's the romantic in me, but I really do think there's something incredible that's gone on here many times before. Again, I would have to say that for some reason, there seems to be reboots that happen as well. But maybe it doesn't take 4.5 billion years for intelligent life to create civilizations. Maybe it could be a hell of a lot earlier than that. So just food for thought, but I think that's an interesting article.
Absolutely.
Again, it's got to be a blind hypothesis. There's no way to quantify that. I mean, because we haven't found other civilizations at current.
Nope.
So again, it's all what is the word? Hyperbolic? Would that be correct? Hyperbole? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I'm using words that I'm probably not licensed to use. Hyperbole. Okay.
Hyperbole, that's the word.
There you go. Don and his pronunciations. You've got it nailed, brother. Making me sound smarter all the time.
Yes, sir. That's my job.
You poor man. That's some big shoes to fill right there. Here's another one that I wanted to read for you guys. I thought this was kind of cool. I do. I think this is exciting, possibly.
Yes.
And the friends of ours like Ken and, of course, Dean Harrison down in Australia, and Aussie and several others have talked, and our friend Cade have talked about the possibility of the thylacine to still be around. I don't know. I haven't read this article, so I don't know the scope of what they're saying here, but I think it's pretty interesting. And what it is that this is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. A firm develops Tasmanian tiger DNA detector, which to me sounds really cool. A genetic science company in Australia has developed a way to detect the presence of thylacines out in the wild. Officially thought to have gone extinct decades ago, the thylacine or Tasmanian tiger was a distinctive carnivorous marsupial native to Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea. Sporadic reports of alleged thylacines in the wild, however, have continued even to the present day, leading many researchers to believe that the species might have managed to survive against all odds. Conclusively proving this, however, has long proven to be a major challenge. Now, though, thylacine researcher Michael Moss has enlisted the services of EnviroDNA, a firm which analyzes environmental DNA, or eDNA, to determine which species are living in a given area.
Wow.
Such DNA traces may be found in skin cells, hairs, saliva that animals leave behind, and by taking samples of the soil in a given area, the DNA of each species can be identified.
Wow.
Now, the team at EnviroDNA has used an analysis of the DNA from a preserved thylacine pup to expand its species library to include the Tasmanian tiger. If a positive match can be found, it would suggest that there are still living thylacines roaming around. So far, the test has only been done on a preserved thylacine hair. However, it should be possible to start analyzing general samples for signs of the species in the near future. It will certainly be interesting to see what, if anything, the team finds.
We should send him over to Ken's house.
Yeah, exactly. Ken, this is your chance. We'll get him in there. And, but here's the other part. Again, it's kind of like with the Sasquatch thing. For me, it's like, once it's proven, what does that mean?
Right.
Is that the complete downfall then of the remaining thylacines? Because people want them in zoos and they'll want them to study, and it'll just be this tragedy all over again. or are they best just left unknown and out there doing their thing? I don't know. That's the part of me that's not sure, because we have a tendency to destroy those things, in all of our love of them. We I don't know. Do we love them too much, Don?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's exciting that they're still looking, because there are a lot of reports still coming in. And by a lot, I don't know. I don't live in Australia, but I'm in America and I've heard a bunch. And so that means there must be a whole lot more going on down there.
Right.
Ken has seen them. Apparently Dean Harrison saw one, had it come right up to him as he was investigating the Yowie. And he shooed it away. He's like, hey, go on.
Hey, hold on. Let me get a picture first. Can I have a hair? Thanks.
He said it didn't occur to him until later. It was like, oh my God.
So
But-
they're marsupials. So do they carry their
Pups in a pouch? I don't
yeah.
know. Perhaps they do. I don't know. There's
And have an abdominal pouch similar to a kangaroo's.
okay,
Huh.
so they must, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Interesting.
You'd think that'd be a benefit, because they wouldn't need to have a den necessarily. Like
sure,
like a
yeah.
wolf would need a den, or a fox needs a den. So they're tied to a specific area until the pups get big enough to move, or until the parent can move them. But if you can just tuck a few in the belly there and take off, they're golden. I don't know. Just me thinking. I don't know if that works that way or not, but it seems to me like a good idea. It's like having those kid packs where you can wear them on your chest,
Right.
and just go do your thing, mow the yard and stuff with a little kid on your belly. I don't know. Just maybe it works the same way for thylacines. I think kangaroos, they don't really den anywhere, do they? They just kind of roam around with their little joeys.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. But again, it's all foreign to me by and large. But cool. I hope they do find them, because I think it would be nice for those people that have come forward
Right.
with these claims to not be scoffed at and say, well, maybe
Vindication.
vindication. There you go. Another word I needed. Thank you, Don. You're my encyclopedia.
Oh boy.
Yeah. it's good. You complete me, Don.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so anyway, there's that. So to all of our friends from Oz, they're still looking, and we hope they find them. All right, let's continue on. Shall we? Where are we at, though? We got to be close to a break. Oh my God, is that good timing?
Oh
or
yeah,
what?
that's good. That's
Woo.
really good. Woohoo!
That was 47 seconds.
Dang.
Bing, bong, boom. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break here in just a few seconds. So I hope you will stay with us. If you're new to the show, we got to take breaks because we're also broadcasting on some networks, and they have to take breaks. So for those of you on YouTube, understand we don't take breaks because we're lazy. We take them because we have to. So stick with us for a couple minutes. We'll be right back, and we'll get right back to it. So
And thanks for the 3 thumbs down.
woo, 3 of them. That's a new record, isn't it?
It's getting close, yeah.
It's getting close.
Yay!
Yeah, yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number two, or half hour number two.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I think I got it out now, Don.
You think so?
I got better.
I got better.
That's right, I did. Let's see, where are we at here? Got to figure out where I am. Here's something interesting. Now, when you think of states that have a lot of weirdness going on, oh, you peeked. You can't peek because I was going to ask you. But if I would ask you which is the weirdest state of all, what would you think?
California.
Yeah. I mean, for paranormal stuff.
Paranormal stuff. Honestly, I would have said Ohio, actually.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would have said. However, apparently...
Apparently the phone rang.
No, it didn't. I got a email, but no, it's nothing I need to take care of right now. But I would have thought that too. I would have thought Ohio because they've got the grass man, they got a bunch of UFO stuff, bunch of cryptid stuff, Dog Man.
D.
They got D. Yeah. D is paranormal too. So I mean, all that paranormal going on. But this is from KCRW.com, and they're saying, why does Wisconsin get all the monsters?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. They do have the Beast of Bray Road, and they have...
Oh, good point.
They do, well, which is a dog man, of course, and they do have Bigfoot. I'm not sure what other ones they have, but let's see. Right off the top of my head anyway, I'm not remembering, but let's see what they do say. It says, why does Wisconsin get all the monsters?
Because they got all the cheese.
Oh, look who wrote it, though. It's written by Linda Godfrey. Linda Godfrey.
No bias there.
Yeah. This article was written by Linda Godfrey, January 23rd of 2015. That's cool. Linda's a wonderful person, but let's see what she says. She says, the Pine Barrens of New Jersey may reverberate with the fetid screams of the cloven hoof demon known as the Jersey Devil. The redwood forests of the Pacific Northwest may shake from the footfalls of 9-foot fur-covered primate known as Sasquatch. And America's southern swamps may teem with scaly, web-fingered lizard men, but my home state of Wisconsin is as well known for sightings of things that look like fanged, shaggy werewolves as it is for cows, cheese, and the Green Bay Packers. Why Wisconsin? Well, why not Wisconsin? An inherent and sensible trait of the successful monster is that it can show up anywhere unpredictably, and it is key to inflicting a proper scare. Still, after 22 years of looking into reports of unknown beasts from around the United States, I've noticed that some places are consistently more monster-rich than others. The Dairy State is one of them. My first brush with this phenomena came in 1991. I'm going to blow this up because it's a very fair font. It's very thin. There we go. That'll be much better. Yeah, I need it big, Don.
I could read that from across the house.
Yeah, an inherent sensible. Okay, Dairy State is one of them. My first brush with this phenomena came in 1991 when, as a reporter for the Delavan, Wisconsin's The Week, I broke the story that a Walworth County animal control officer was recording reports of an upright wolf-like creature that I called the Beast of Bray Road. I realized that sober, credible people from Rhinelander to Potosi have long claimed encounters with dogmen, Bigfoot, giant storks, supersized humanoid bats, lizard people, pigmen, goatmen, out-of-place kangaroos, lake monsters, UFOs, and even an aggressive tribe of weird, tiny baseball bat-wielding little people that folks around Muskego call the Haunchies. I could go on. Knowing my state as I do, I believe that there are some good reasons for this abundance of beasties, and that those reasons stem from the breathtaking diversity of two things: Wisconsin's people and its land. Let's start with the land. Yep, those bucolic cow-filled pastures that comprise most people's mental image of Wisconsin do exist, but they are bounded by the deep pine forests of its northern half, the river bluffs and yawning gorges of its western counties, the Kettle Moraine State Forest with its deep round wash bowls slashing through the southeast, and the 30 miles of ancient red quartzite hills that form the Baraboo Range and anchor the state's rocky heart. Toss in major rivers like the mighty Mississippi and the serpentine Wisconsin that spreads into a myriad of lakes and marshes, add the windswept shores of Lake Superior and Michigan, and the amazingly varied habitat that is Wisconsin begins to emerge. For millennia, this wild backdrop inspired indigenous people, the Ho-Chunk, Algonquins, Mississippians, Fox, Sac, Ojibwe, and others, to tell stories about living cheek by jowl with every monster imaginable. Stormy nights brought the massive flying raptor known as the Thunderbird, whose eyes and wings created lightning and thunder, and the spirit bird hovered over the rough waves to battle Mishipishu, the horned water panther, as a lordly river serpent known for carving out the Wisconsin River, looked on through dinner plate-sized red eyes in the winter. When game grew scarce among the snowy pines, many northern tribes watched carefully for signs of the Wendigo, dark spirit that could possess a starving person and turn him or her into a cannibal. As it fed, the Wendigo grew into a gaunt skeletal giant made mostly of ice. If defeated, its melted remains would reveal the shriveled carcass of its original victim. When fur trappers, traders, and Jesuit priests of European descent landed along the shores of Lake Superior in Michigan in the 17th and 18th centuries, they introduced their own tale of European monsters, werewolves, and little goblins, chief among them, to lake ports like Green Bay. And the settlers that followed them added names like Fairy, Chasm, Black Earth, and Devil's Lake to the landscape. In the 1800s, more legends of upright wolves howled their way into the state's interior, along with settlers from German-speaking lands. One alleged werewolf named Gross made its living as a itinerant dance master in the Dane County town of Springfield Corners in the 1840s. When a prosperous farmer for whom Gross rented a room was found dead, the townsfolk blamed the suspected shapeshifter, who eventually died and was buried in a nearby cemetery. Although it was never proved, the tale persisted well into the 20th century when state folktale specialists recorded it. More immigrants, Yankees, Poles, Italians, Bohemians, Slavics, Irish, Dutch, African Americans, Hmong, Latinos, and more found their way here and brought their own vampires, chupacabra, and phantom hounds with them. On top of that, lumberjacks hired to cut down the northern forests invented mythic beasts like the cougar fish and the snow snake and added them to the spooky mix. But there's more to it than sheer diversity. Wisconsin is a state that doesn't mind being known for its love of cheese. Yeah, they do got good cheese, I gotta admit. Its people are used to being referred to as the flyover state, and they don't give a goatsman's whisker about what people think of of any other region may think of it. This is the sort of attitude required for anyone willing to avow that Bigfoot lurks in the back 40. It takes true intestinal fortitude buoyed by bratwurst and a lifetime of self-reliance for a man to report that a humanoid bat with a 15-foot wingspan almost took out the windshield of his pickup truck, as did one resident of the La Crosse area in 2006. Does Wisconsin really harbor more monsters than other states? I don't think we know, and I don't think most residents care where the state stands on the monstrous scale. All I can say is that we boast more than a few citizens who aren't afraid to call a pigman when they see one shopping at the secondhand store in downtown Marshfield. I think the monsters know and grudgingly appreciate the candid nod to their existence. And this is the true reason they are here. I like the way she writes. She writes so cool. It's very animated text, you know.
It is.
So that's an article. I didn't even know this existed, but I saw it and I was like, well, why does Wisconsin have more than anybody else? And I didn't realize half of these that she named throughout the course of this article. So very cool.
Goatman's whisker. I'll give one goatman's whisker. That was good.
Yeah, that was really.
She really has a knack for a turn of phrase, you know.
She can turn a phrase. That's absolutely right. But good article, all the same. And, of course, Linda's been on the show. If you want to check out her appearances on the Paranormal Portal, you can check them out in our archives. They're quite a ways back. But if you look on the Bigfoot's playlist, the Bigfoot Dogman Cryptids playlist, you'll see there's a couple of visits. She had 2 or 3 done.
3.
3 visits with us, yeah. And they were all great. And they're all right at the top of the list. In fact, she has the most successful episode we've ever done.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, with well over 20,000 views now. It's which by YouTube standards is very small, but for the Paranormal Portal,
It's
it's
huge.
epic.
It's bloody huge.
It's bloody huge. That's right. So, another yarn from Miss Linda Godfrey. I really wanted to get her back on, but I understand she's having some health issues. So,
Oh, gosh.
unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon or not. But
Huh.
we'll just keep praying for her. And if you want to help support her, obviously, check out her list of books. The most recent is I Know What I Saw. And you can find those on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and definitely check them out. So, that was that. Okay. Well, that's about it from here, I think. I don't think I had anything else lined up from this list, necessarily.
Oh, but Brent.
You missed that. You missed the... Did we show that video? When you were here, the one with the door peeker peeking out of that door?
No.
You weren't here? Oh, man, you missed it. It was a good one. You should check it out.
Check
Check out our own archives, because it's a creepy video. And I see that's really making the rounds now. A lot of people have shared it around all of the social media. So if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's a really creepy, potentially amazing capture of a spiritual entity leaning out of a doorway from down a hall. And there's a security camera.
Yeah, with the tentacle fingers. Yes.
Okay,
yes,
you were here. Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's on the Chacha says it's on the Paranormal Portal fan page.
Oh.
On Facebook. So if you want to check it out in a hurry, just go over to the Paranormal Portal fans on Facebook and you can check it out there. So, what do we got next, Don?
What do we got, Brent?
I don't know. I got to find what's next here. There's one more here I wanted to read right off the bat because it does tie in. Where are we at with time? We got 13 minutes. I don't think that's enough for a Brent Swanser article, is it?
Oh, God, no.
No, they take a while. They're well written, but they are comprehensive and full. I could probably read it because it sounds like it's encounters, so we can read through some of these encounters. This is an article from Brent Swanser of mysteriousuniverse.org.
Thank you.
Is where most of his works are published, and other places too. And he's also an author and such, and a wonderful guy. And he reaches out and always links his new articles to me over on the fans page, which is really cool. And his work is brilliant. If you haven't checked him out, definitely check out Brent Swanser, and SWANCER, and you can find his works over on mysteriousuniverse.org, which is a phenomenal site as well, just full of amazing articles by Brent Swanser and Nick Redfern and others that have done an incredible job.
He's
So.
actually really active on the Paranormal Portal fan page.
Yeah,
too.
I know. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really neat. And I, as you and I have talked many times, we were always marveling at his work a long time ago, years ago, when we were doing the show. And it's like, God, who wrote that article? And it was like Brent Swanser. And anytime we'd cover a really comprehensive, well-written article, it's like, was that him? And Don's like, yeah, that was him. And then he reached out on Facebook to us, which was really cool.
Out of the blue, yeah.
Just out of the blue, yep.
Cool.
So this is, I guess we can cover this. I don't think this is one big chunk. I think this is several encounters, so we can cover part now and part after the hour break. But let's get into this. This is mysteriousuniverse.org, Strange and Frightening Werewolf Encounters. And of course, if you hear the name werewolf, you got to say to yourself, Dogman, because I don't think there's any difference. I think it's a semantical difference that's just cultural.
So you don't think it's a person who has lycanthropy and turns into a...
No, I do know there's skinwalkers, which I could say
Okay.
would be what we understand to be lycanthropy from the Europeans. I think I do believe that the skinwalkers could be a very real deal, and perhaps because it couldn't just be isolated to Native Americans. There must be a precedent for it around the world. But anyway, this is about the werewolves, which I believe are dogmen. Okay, so it says one creature that has long been the inhabitant of folklore and scary fiction is the werewolf. These shape-shifting creatures have haunted the imagination of humankind and are legends for centuries across many cultures. And as much as we would like to think that they merely dwell within the shadows of our mind, there are many reports of what seem to be real werewolves out there, which really push the boundaries of the strange and leave us scratching our heads. After all, How could such a creature ever actually exist in any real sense? The answer to that question might not be clear, but what is clear is that there are many reports of what can only be described as actual living werewolves. And here we'll look at a selection of very weird and scary accounts of these. This harrowing account comes to us from a Reddit poster, TX Fit, who claims this happened to her and her husband in the South Dallas suburbs of Texas. Heading towards their apartment on this evening, she says that although the suburb is fairly well populated, it was so late that no one else was on the road at the time. With the lane lines of the empty road hypnotically flickering by the dim glow of the street lamps. It would have normally been a fairly relaxing, uneventful drive, but something was about to ruin all of that. And the witness says, as soon as we passed the traffic light under the highway, we both saw it, plain as day. Stone sober and wide awake, we both saw MFing werewolf-type creature exit a neighborhood street and calmly run in about 4 steps across a 4-lane road, and it was about 75 yards in front of us, but it wasn't exactly the way I'd imagine a werewolf. It was completely canine, no human features at all except for the fact that it was on 2 legs. The legs were massive, and the thing was about 7 feet tall, but the arms reminded me of a T-Rex arms. They were very small and still hung like dog's legs. They seemed very useless and if the thing were trying to attack something. The head was also odd. Besides being a typical dog color, grayish-black, the eyes were bright glowing yellow, even when they weren't in the headlights shining directly in them. It didn't look like the glow an animal gets from lights in their eyes anyway. But the thing that stood out to me the most was that the eyes were binocular, like a fish. I saw the eyes clearly, even though he was completely profile to us. I'll never forget how fast this thing was either. The road we were driving on had heavy trees to the right-hand side of us. When it came out, it was running but crossed this road in just a few steps. It was big enough and effortlessly fast enough to know that a human couldn't have dressed up and done this. There was an open field that he ran into, and when my husband and I got to where the trees broke, we both turned our heads to look, but it was long gone by then, about 4 seconds. I think the only thing that was said was a quiet, what the hell? Well, that's not exactly what they said, but, that's what I'm saying, by me. More about that thing, about this thing looked like. It was much less scary than what I would have imagined a werewolf to be. When it was running across the road, I didn't get the sense that it cared that we saw it, or that it was even trying that hard to cross before we got closer. I didn't feel fear as if we were threatened, only a disbelief, really. And again, it's not like we were in a rural area by any stretch of the imagination. Similarly, we have the driving encounter of a witness who says this happened in July of 1992 in southern Maryland when he was about 16 years old. At the time, he was driving back from Chesapeake Beach from having dinner with his brother, mother, and father, and he was sitting in the back seat just chatting with the brother, and at one point he found himself staring out the window, watching the murky nighttime rural area go by when something caught his attention. And although the encounter was fairly fleeting, it was something he says he will never forget. The witness explains, riding along, I'm just looking out the window, and there's a little road that merges onto the main road to the left. So as we merge, we pick up a little speed, and we're going maybe 25 to 30 miles per hour, and you have to cross this little bridge, and it's really bumpy, so we slowed down even more. And once we did that, I look up ahead, and about 75 yards ahead, I see something standing on the wood edge off to the right a little bit. But it was exactly at the edge of the woods. It had both arms on a tree, just standing there, meaning its right arm was on a tree about shoulder height, and its left arm was on a tree about shoulder height. So its arms were basically spread out with its hands on the trees. It was about 7 feet tall, maybe even taller, had a wolf-looking face, only larger, like a dire wolf from the Game of Thrones, really broad shoulders and muscular arms. Its barrel chest and it narrowed the rest of the way down. It was dark brown, and the hair was medium length. I didn't get a great look at the legs because It locked eyes with me. It knew I saw it, and it saw me. I saw it a good distance up ahead and was like, what the hell is that standing on the wood edge? Soon as I said that, I locked eyes with it. I saw it for a good 10 to 15 seconds. Because of how far up ahead it was, I first noticed it. It moved. I just first noticed it moving around and how slow we were traveling. It took my breath when I first realized I was looking at. My first thought was, God, that thing is ugly. But it had very pointy features, and it didn't look like a Bigfoot, but an actual werewolf. And I said out loud to my family, "Did you guys see that thing?" Obviously, they were like, "See what?" Another thing, this was in the southern Maryland, where there is no bears or other large animals. Yikes. That's really creepy. Don't you think, Don?
I think so.
So these reports are rather eerie, but in some cases they can get downright terrifying. From the site Phantoms and Monsters, there are a few such cases, one of which comes from a witness who describes himself as an avid hunter and outdoorsman, and who was at the time staying at his family's cabin near Danbury in northwest Wisconsin, along with his cousin and grandparents for the weekend. One of his favorite activities was to go out and have airsoft battles with his cousin in the woods. And on this day, they had been engaging in one such battle about 200 yards into the tree line when the sounds of the forest allegedly just stopped, as if someone had pressed a mute button. The bird song was gone. There was nothing, just a sudden, unsettling silence. He says of what happened next. How much does he say? Because I got just a few minutes here. Yeah, I think I can get through this. It says, I went into hunter mode at this point, and I started scanning the clearing. I went from right to left, then back, and on the second look through, I saw it. Its teeth are what gave it away, as they contrasted with the background. Once I focused on it, I noticed a canid appearance in the head. It had dark reddish-brown hair or fur, and where it gets even stranger is that it was leaning on a tree and had its front left arm, gripping the tree. It appeared to have claws and was panting and staring in our direction with its ears up listening, while kneeling or crouching, and I recognized it as a threat, as a predator, immediately. Now, this all happened in the span of maybe 10 seconds before I said to my cousin, we have to go. He was a faster runner than me, and when I said that I was still watching the animal, my cousin took off. When he ran, the animal raised up and ran towards us. Oh, no. It took a good 3 steps on 2 legs before I started to run. As I was turning to run, it appeared to have possibly been going to all 4s. I got to the fork in the trail to find my cousin waiting, and I yelled, go, go, go. And we ran back to the cabin. While running out, I could hear it crashing through the woods behind me, but it didn't follow beyond the tree line. At the time, I thought it had the intention to do harm, but now that I look back on it, I think it was just being either territorial or it was a bluff charge. Most animals can easily outrun humans on foot. If it really wanted one of us, it would have gotten us. I have tried to explain it away as being a bear or a big wolf, but what I saw just does not add up. It just wasn't a known animal. I'm still stumped by it. I'm normally very skeptical. However, I know that what I saw was not normal. And I am less skeptical than I used to be now. That's good. I'm still nervous about the forests. I don't go into woods alone or unarmed anymore. I'm not scared of any man, but I certainly don't want to see anything that looks like a werewolf again. By the way, all of this happened in broad daylight. If that I wasn't already clear.
You know, I think it's interesting that when he saw when it all went all quiet and everything, he went into hunter mode with an airsoft gun.
Well, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can probably piss it off real good before it eats you. Ow, that was my eye. Ow, God.
Stop it. You stop being in my ear.
No fair. Time out.
I'm telling Mom.
Oh, no. Yeah, it'd be something like that. Yeah, airsoft is not the kind of arms you want to have with you in a situation like that. I'm not sure if there is an arms you really want, other than it should be a pretty high caliber.
Like a 50.
Yeah. Because you hear people talking about it. They shot it. I shot it. I know I hit it. I saw the pelt move. Didn't even slow down. Just kept going. And it's like, whoa. How do you have a huge round tearing through something?
Yeah.
And it has no effect? That's just freaky.
You know, I do appreciate the fact that he admitted that it was faster than him, as opposed to these stories we've heard specifically from Vic Cundiff, you know, about, yeah, man, I outran it. No, you didn't. You did not.
Yeah, that was funny. Vic's telling us about that.
Wow.
We'll have to get Vic back on, too. That was a good time. It was a good talk. Good chat with Vic. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, these are good stories. We are going to pick this back up when we come back after the hour break, which is just about now. So, again, just give us a few minutes. We'll do the station breaks, and we'll be right back with you and more of the Paranormal Portal.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise to just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
she's with, they're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Why, yes, they can. Years and years and years and years. And then more years after that. You just never know how long they can go.
Oh, boy.
But we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number 2 is upon us. We are in the groove tonight. Saturday night fever. Did you go back to the 70s there?
Oh, boy.
Sorry. It's just all you get. You're getting the free entertainment tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But we are underway on an article from our very beloved Brent Swanser, who writes for MysteriousAniverse.org, and we're talking about some werewolf encounters people are having, which I think is safe to say is the dog man. Again, semantics and all. Because, you know, when you talk to people that have witnessed dogman, many of them say it looked just like the creatures on the Underworld series with Kate Beckinsale. Look just like those creatures. Well, those are werewolves, but
I didn't see anything other than Kate through that entire movie.
yeah, you're in a love focus there. Oh, that form-fitting leather just got you a little spun out, did
Those
it?
eyes, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, she's a doll. There's no question. But, you know, so I think it's semantics. People are talking about werewolves or dogmen. They're pretty much talking about the same thing, I think. But anyway, enough about what I think. I might be pontificating after all.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's get into this. This is another part of the article. And he says, we're continuing on, of course. This says, another spooky report comes from the TV show Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 5, an episode called Animal Nightmares. The witness is a Nadine Smith, who lived in a trailer park in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, with her husband and son Shane. They were only temporarily living at the trailer park, as the husband was in the military, and they were waiting for housing on the base at the time, but they would soon want to move all the quicker after an incident that Nadine and Shane had one day playing out in the yard. Excuse me. Everything was normal enough until they came across a dead dog that they buried out by the tree line of the nearby woods. The next day, when they went to check on the grave, it had apparently been dug up, and the carcass was gone.
Ooh.
Yeesh. It was shortly after this that Nadine would start sighting an immense figure lurking about in the trees around the property, described as around 8 feet tall, and with glowing eyes like burning embers, but always half hidden by shadows. And her husband on one occasion saw it too. It would steadily get more frightening from there, and the report reads, Nadine decided to ask some neighbors around the trailer park if they ever saw anything weird around the area. Her neighbors seemed uninterested in speaking to her about it, and a few shunned her entirely. Well, as she walked around the park one day, she spotted inside one of the abandoned and locked trailers red eyes staring back at her from the window. Whatever it was inside the trailer. Well, around this time, Shane began having reoccurring nightmares that would wake in panic, and he claimed that a creature was looking at him in the window at night. They would attempt to calm him down by telling him that it was just a nightmare and nothing more. One night they ran into the room during one of these night terror instances, and both Nadine and her husband saw the red-eyed creature in the window looking in. Nadine described that it had black/brown fur was standing upright and had red eyes. She noted that to her it looked like an upright walking wolf. She decided to do some research and found out about skinwalkers and came to believe that the creature might actually be one. While her husband was away at work, Nadine, too scared to stay at home alone, asked a friend to stay over. One night during this time, they heard guttural growls coming from outside, as well as noises. Both women looked out the door and observed the upright walking black wolf with red eyes looking back at them. Nadine noted that it appeared angry and bolted in their direction. Well, they went inside, and just then their 14-by-8 trailer began to shake violently. As they were preparing to call the police, everything stopped. They opened the door and the creature was now gone. Nadine and her husband decided that it was probably best to just move, and they packed their things and drove off. They were such a haste to get away from the area that they ended up leaving some of their furniture behind. Nadine's husband claims that even on the last day while packing their car, he could see the red eyes watching him from a tree line. Bless you. Did you sneeze?
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. Just trying to give you all that etiquette. So this thing was obviously locked onto this family for some reason, which is weird because it's at that point it's targeting them specifically.
Well, now
You got a microphone off.
It's because I sneezed into it. Thank you. Anyhow, but was this the story that they buried the dog?
Yeah, they buried the dog and then
Okay.
they found it dug up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's a skinwalker though.
Yeah, that's what she was
When
saying
dug
too.
it up and
Yeah.
put it on. Yeah.
But 8 feet tall, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how tall skinwalkers are generally. I always thought they were about people size, but I might be absolutely wrong. Maybe they do get grotesquely large too. That's crazy. All right, here's another one. Finally, we have another sinister encounter from the site, Phantoms and Monsters, and this time from Hillsborough County, Florida. In this case, it seems as if the family was actually being stalked by a creature that they accidentally hit in their car one evening in 1991.
Wow.
Yeah, that might put you on the list. You hit me. He says that they had been coming home from a school concert when they had smashed into a large animal on the road that soon proved to be a humanoid monster with sharp teeth and claws, black fur and red eyes that ran off into the night, leaving gouges on the vehicle. Fast forward to 2001, and it seems as if whatever it was had come back. From 1991 to 2001?
That's 20 years.
Right. Yeah, that's a long time. Okay. The witness says, I believe it was 2001. I worked maintenance at a factory, again in Hillsborough County, Florida, between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. for about 1 week. For about a week, I heard weird sounds coming from back of the building, which has thick brush, not the typical animal sounds. One night, I heard a loud crash coming from the side entrance. I investigated to find a large garbage can was thrown on top of the roof and had rolled off. Well, I was thinking kids until I got a strong whiff of something nasty. It wasn't the trash, and then I was thinking skunk ape. Well, I quickly picked up all the trash and went back into the building. The next night I was traveling between the two buildings when the thick bushes started shaking. I heard an animal make a horrible sound like it was being choked. While I ran into the lighted parking lot and turned around, I saw a large humanoid shape appear out of the brush, and it went back in. A couple of nights later, my mom was waiting to pick me up when she saw a large shape come in under a light by the side entrance, and it suddenly noticed her and then went back into the shadows. A week passed without incident. Again, my mom was waiting to pick me up when she heard a couple of dogs barking close by. She turned to see a large hooded man walking behind the car. He was across the parking lot on the other side of the road. The dogs belonged to a couple of trailer folks nearby, and these dogs travel in a pack of four to five and weighed between 60 and 90 pounds. They were running around the man, barking and snapping at him, and one of the large dogs got a hold of his arm, and then my mom saw the man's face. It wasn't a man under that hood. The head of a black wolf became visible. The unearthly being shook and then threw that dog like a doll. The rest of the dogs ran for their lives. The hooded creature walked into the nearby woods, and the next night was a full moon, and I heard its unearthly howl. We never heard or saw it again. Now a housing project occupies the land where it once lived.
Huh.
What are these people seeing? What are these werewolves they speak of? What do such reports signify, and how do we classify those? Could these be actual cryptids, some undiscovered creature or variation of Bigfoot even? Are these misidentifications or hoaxes? Could they be glimpses at some sort of phenomena we can only guess at? Is there perhaps something behind the legends of the werewolf present in such encounters? It certainly seems as if such reports are firmly in the outer fringes of the odd, and we can only guess at what they may mean, whatever the case may be. Such reports populate the wild badlands of the world, and of the weird, rather, of the world of the weird, and suggest that things might be even stranger than one would expect.
I would say so.
Yeah, that's creepy. Great article. Again, just a hell of a job. But these are fascinating. They're fascinating, but they're also incredibly, I don't know. It's like, I believe they're out there, but at the same time, they're out there in my imagination. If I actually saw one of these, I wonder how that would change everything, you know? Like, would I even bring the garbage out at night? I'd be like, nope, I can wait till day.
It would probably cause such a visceral event, such a visual, I can't say it now. Anyhow, feeling that, visceral feeling, that, you probably wouldn't be able to do a lot of things. I mean, it's
Right.
like somebody who has a horrendous car crash, or they're in a car crash when they're young,
Mhm.
and then like they don't want to drive a car ever, So it's like, every time they get near a car, it's like
Right.
So I think that's what it would do if I saw something like that and it was barking and growling or coming at me. I'd be like, I'm dead.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what would you do, right? Because if it's something like that big coming at you, again, I don't know. Could you even form anything rational, or is that it? Is it just that one fatalistic? Well, I'm going to be dead now.
Yeah.
This is it.
I'll just write my bye-bye note.
Yep. That's just wave goodbye in the screaming pain. I don't know, but I'm just looking at this picture right now that's on the screen, and I'm trying to imagine what would it be like if it was just right outside the window.
Yeah.
And how drastically would that, and it's no wonder people have PTSD
No kidding.
from encounters with these huge beings, because again, we're in our own scale, we're fine. I can take care of myself. I'm not afraid of nothing. But when you start going into a scale that's feet, and hundreds of pounds heavier and feet taller and quicker and stronger and everything, it's got to be about the most helpless feeling in the world. Just like might as well just be a toddler,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just really intense kind of stuff. But my hat's off to anybody that lives through that and then goes on to have a normal life.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know how you do that. I really don't. It's just that kind of
Ooh,
amazing. What?
we got another thumbs down.
We did? We got
Yeah,
4?
we got 4 now.
Oof.
Woo.
I guess there's a lot of hate out there tonight.
Wow.
Could be someone that's whining about the First Amendment or something.
Oh.
It could be. I'm just saying.
Wonder what that meant. That's funny.
I don't know. I heard about some of that stuff. I don't know.
Oh, there's this thing.
It's a sign of growth, though, Don. I mean,
It
if
is.
we're starting to attract the idiots, we're doing something right.
Wow.
I'm just saying. No, I don't have any hate for anybody. Don't get me wrong, but I certainly. It's tough when people want to be disruptive. It's always tough.
Yep.
I think
Kev Baker says, you ain't doing it right if there's less than 10 dislikes. Thanks, Kev.
we're on the right track. We're still growing, though. It's a matter of it's our growing pains, I guess. But
Yeah, but you know what? It only comes out as numbers anyhow, and it's not like it really detracts from your.
yeah, I mean, either way, someone's paying attention. So that's
Too bad there's not like a middle finger button. Giving him the bird.
No, it's probably a good thing there isn't. 'Cause,
Yeah, because I'd be wearing that thing out.
yeah, Donna be saluting everybody.
Wouldn't that be great if they gave you a choice that you could react back to it?
Yeah, it would be. It would be like if you could hit a response, that you could flip them off and that they would only appear to them. That'd be hilarious. That'd be good, actually. You should get on that, Don.
Yeah, I'm right. Yeah,
It's on
I'm
your
right there.
It's on your to-do list now.
Oh, I don't worry about. You start worrying. I don't worry about the thumbs down. And Kev just said it too. He says it's just numbers. It's analytics.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's
It
interactions.
means interactions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it shows people are engaged, even poorly
Thank
engaged.
you.
Ah.
One went away. That must have been Kev.
Aw.
That wasn't Kev.
Was that Kev? That's not hurting him.
Nah. Let's just see what he does.
Not our Kev. Our Kev wouldn't do that to us.
No.
He loves us, and we love him.
And we love him. Yes.
Absolutely. All right, we got some different spiritual stuff to cover too.
Oh, actually,
That's creatures too, right?
yeah. Well,
Spirit.
yeah,
everything's creatures on my shows.
Would a poltergeist be a creature? A spirit creature?
I don't know. It could be. Could
You
be.
know, it's like,
If
you
they
know,
are indeed a separate kind of entity,
Peo
then yes.
dog comes to your house.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting one because I've
Scratches.
never heard of this before.
Oh.
This is an article from animalien.com. Let me pull this over here so we can look at it. They're talking about the name of the shadowy spirits you see out of the corner of your eye. And it's called the Flimmerngeists.
Flimmergist.
Flimmerngeists. How many times, and we've heard it time and time and time and time again. People, when they're first starting to become aware of hauntings and stuff, they start to see it out of the corner of their eyes first. Like in the peripheral vision, they notice movement or shadows moving or whatever. Well, apparently that has a name, and it's called Flimmerngeists, and it's shadowy figures out of the corner of your eye. So I saw this, and I was like, well, I'm learning something new here. This is good. Let's see what it says, folks. It says the words Flimmern and Geist are Germanic in origin and translate as flicker spirits or flicker guides.
Huh.
This unexplained phenomenon was first described by the alchemist Jacob Boehme in the 16th century as the ability to see shadowy figures out of the corner of your eye. Generally, these beings flicker in and out of a person's peripheral vision and appear to be humanoid, dark, and agile. The truth is that almost every person alive has at some time seen a fast-moving shadow or just at the edge of their vision and turned to look but seen nothing more. These observations are most often accompanied by shivers, chills, and the sensation that something odd has just happened. Scientists are quick to suggest that this phenomenon is just a trick of the eyes, but fail to explain both how and why. It's possible that these unexplained apparitions are just the hallucinations of the brain as it tries to decipher the edge of visual perception, but others believe that it is in this marginal zone that the eye and mind are able to perceive another more paranormal dimension. Here is what the witnesses write. Recently, I've had several regular incidents of seeing something move in the corner of my eye. The impression is of something black, shadowy, moving past quickly at a slightly above the ground level. I always turn my head in surprise, but there's never anything there. This happens at various different times, often in the middle of the day. Here's another one. I'd not thought too deeply about it until my nephew, who's in his 20s and lives in the house with me, mentioned that he sees exactly the same thing. Our descriptions were pretty much identical. We do have a cat, but it's not her. It's pretty obvious when she's around. But also there's never any accompanying noise or disturbance of nearby objects, etc. Another one says, I don't feel anything negative coming from these shadows, wrote Richard in one forum. And immediately following, comments appeared. When I was 17, I started to see the exact same thing. At first, I thought it was just a form of migraine, but when I do rarely have a migraine, I see white and blue flashing lights. Nothing like the small black shadow darting across the room in my peripheral vision. Here's another one. The sightings got more and more frequent until my best friend was involved in a serious car accident which killed her boyfriend. Then they stopped. Until a few years later, I started to see it again. It got more and more frequent until my tight-knit group of friends and boyfriend or best friend all went our separate ways. Oh. So not exactly tragic like the first time, but it was still crushing for me emotionally. Years later, quite recently, as it was last year, I started to see this little black shadow darting across my peripheral vision. Another one says, our dog suddenly and unexpectedly fell ill and had to be euthanized. I've never cried so hard in my life as I did at his death. We love that pooch so much. Now, if I ever see it again, I'll be sure to brace myself for whatever is coming, added another person. These flickering spirits are often described as being cloaked, but those that have trained themselves to observe this phenomena just simply describe a blurred outline that can be easily mistaken for dark clothing. In the 16th century culture and superstitions, these Flimmergists were largely associated with death, and may have given rise to the popular image of the Grim Reaper, the personification of death, a dark hooded figure that flickered in and out of a person's vision shortly before they died. There's a current school of cult thought that proposes that these flicker ghosts are somehow the guides that lead a person's soul to the afterlife. The reality is that nobody really knows why or how individuals see these things, but there's no doubt that many millions do. In fact, so many humans see them that they treat them as just one of those things that, just happens. Yeah, I don't know. I often hear people referencing it at the beginning of hauntings. Like, I started to see something out of the corner of my eye moving, and then it got worse, and then more and more, and it seems like it kind of migrates from that peripheral right into the, you suddenly are seeing things right in your main vision. So it could be any number of things, I guess, but I'd never heard the idea that it was perhaps a harbinger of something dark.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because they did. Yeah, I did mention that it was of a coming death or something to that effect. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, interesting.
And it can apparently also be can be abstract in that the death of that friend group was what that one person experienced.
Right.
Which I don't know. Is that sometimes I have to believe some of that is just. And I know some people say there's no such thing, but could it be a coincidence that was just the most poignant thing that jumped up after that, so the person just translate that as meaning, well, that's what the flickering was about.
Right.
And it may or may not be. I don't know. But interesting all the same. But I do have more information about shadow people from Animalian as well. And I'd like to share that, but how are we doing for time? We got 3 minutes, dude. What the hell?
3 minutes, what?
How is that even possible?
I don't know.
3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, really? Who's playing jokes? Who's out there messing around? It just seems like it goes way too quick. My God, how's that possible, right?
It's the Saturday portal.
It's the Saturday portal. So we're gonna have another break. It's just gonna be a quick one, and we'll be right back, and we will finish all of this, of course. But again, I want to let everybody know, if you're listening on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live, to stick around, because Paisley Wild will be coming up next with The Spaces Between.
That is correct.
And she'll be bringing it home, let me tell you. She's got a great show. If you're not familiar with it, she talks about a lot of esoteric and occult and pagan ideas, and talks about energy, crystals, health, well-being, balancing, polarities, etc., etc. She did a whole series on chakras, which was really fascinating, and if you hadn't seen that, definitely check that from our archives. But you can find her on tfrlive.com, or you can find her as well on her YouTube page, which is youtube.com/thespacesbetween. So
She called me an old goat last night.
that just reminds me, my mom used to call my dad that all the time.
She called me a billy goat.
Well, that's kind of that whole beard thing,
That's what popped into my head too.
You chew on cans and stuff, Don?
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom used to have this wall plaque. I thought it was hilarious because my mom and dad were like funny together. They were just, it wasn't that loving, close kind of relationship. They were just kind of the bickering parents, always, slamming each other. She had this wall plaque that said, sometimes I wake up grumpy, but other times I just let him sleep.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. I don't know. Maybe that's an old thing. Maybe everybody's seen it, but I hadn't at that time. So I was like, oh, that's really funny. But it is what it is. So let me look at the time here. What do we got? 1 minute left, Don.
1 minute.
Nope, 30 seconds until the break. So we're going to take the break. If you're new to the shows, what happens is we are broadcasting on tfrlive.com, TuneIn, TalkStream Live, and iHeart. And as we're also broadcasting here on YouTube, we have to synchronize. So when they take breaks every half hour, we have to take them too. So it's not that we're just lazy or just, not interested in doing a full show. It's just that we have to. So that's why we do the little video segments with music, so you guys don't have to watch commercials or hear commercials. So that's what we're going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go away. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes with the last half hour of the show, which should be good. We're going to talk about the shadow people in just a minute here. So don't go away. Sounds like some sparring going on there in the chat room. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the last 27 minutes of the show, 25 minutes. I guess there's 25 minutes left, and got a couple of articles that should be fun stuff to get through in that time. But hope you guys are enjoying the journey. I'm just really thrilled so many of you showed up tonight. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see new numbers coming up. Some new names. Sandra Piper, that's a new name to me. Any other new names, Don, that you're noticing?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you to all you new people that are here. It's a pleasure to meet you. I hope you like it well enough to get subscribed and to stick around, those of you on YouTube. We, of course, are honored you're here, and hopefully you will leave here completely entertained and jonesing for some more. So I got an article here I'm going to read for you guys. It has to do with shadow people. And we talk to a lot of people about shadow people. Oftentimes, shadow people comes up as probably one of the most common types of apparitions people witness. It seems like, well, for whatever reason. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that they're all seeing the same thing. And I know that there are beings that are referred to as shadow people, but I do believe that people sometimes just see shadowy apparitions and think, well, it's humanoid. It looks like a shadow. It must be a shadow people. But as I understand it, shadow people are incredibly bad news. And this is according to Amy Allen, who I really think she's real dialed in and has a good handle on what she's talking about. But that's from the Dead Files, if you're not familiar with that. And she talks about how if you've got shadow people, you got serious problems. I don't pretend to know much about it personally, but they're believed to subsist on people and to prey on the very old and the very young and the very weak or infirmed. And so that's obviously not a good thing to have around. But if you got them, you want to get rid of them. And apparently they love to come in through portals. So, but I do believe that regular spirits appear shadowy as well. I don't think that it necessarily, just because you see a shadowy spirit doesn't mean you're seeing a shadow people spirit. So don't be real quick to judge those things, because a lot of things appear dark and shadowy. So anyway, this is an article, again, from Animalien. I got one more article after this, depending on where we end up. But I think it should be kind of a fun one to close on. But this is types of shadow people. What do we know about them? Well, I haven't read this, so we're going to learn together. Oh, that's a cool picture. All right, so here's the thing. It says shadow people are likely the most common description given. God, you'd swear I read this before. Most common description given for ghosts by people. Theories abound about the different types of shadow people. Some believe that they are classified into different types of beings, such as aliens, demons, disembodied people, animals, and even unknown monsters. And while it would seem that there are different types of shadow people, shadow people, perhaps the descriptions differ for several reasons. Through ghost investigation of shadow people, our findings concluded that shadows of different types are either human or animal in nature. The shadowed form seems to also differ due to the size of the person or animal. Incomplete forms, such as hands or feet missing, were more likely the result of an incomplete manifestation or movement. If the shadow person is negative, traumatic, or ill-willed, the form often is seen as a heavier, darker mass. Ill-willed specters appear more diabolical, controlling and adept at altering appearances to seem more ominous. Manipulating others through fear, they often cause people to feel dread, sparking great fear in those whom they wish to attack. Still, most shadow people are not ill-willed or pose a threat. Often they are deceased loved ones who either want to observe, watch over us, or even seek our help so they can resolve past issues. When shadow ghosts become visible to the human eye, it would seem that one of the first forms that may be noticed is a mist. This would explain why some shadow ghosts appear in a fog-like manner, why the end of the limbs might be incomplete. As the entity comes further into view, the black mass will begin to take on the shape of a person or animal form. Still, details of the shadow have not yet emerged, so eyes might not be seen. If the manifestation continues, the shadow person will sometimes become visible as a see-through apparition. A seasoned ghost investigator and friend of mine recently witnessed a complete apparition appear before her eyes. Wow, what a moment. The shadow person slowly became transparent and colored in form.
Wow.
Soon she knew she was looking at a man who had formerly worked at a coal mine where she now resides. Her account is highly credible and fantastic confirmation of the stages of how ghosts might fully become visible to us. That's a great article. I like this. It seems like a mistake for us to classify shadow people into types. However, we can't rule out the possibility that other entities might look like shadow people. There could be other plausible explanations for shadows that look like people, such as astral travelers of the earthly realm, people who purposely practice having out-of-body experiences in order to become a temporary disembodied human spirit, psychically created thought form ghosts known as tulpas, or if at times we appear to others elsewhere while asleep. We could be in two places at once. How can we know for sure? This type, human-shaped shadow people, this type of shadow person is self-explanatory and most commonly seen by witnesses. The only differences in description might be due to how well the ghost has become visible, coupled with mental condition of the disembodied person. Shadow ghosts have often been described as sometimes missing facial features, details of clothing, hair, or outer extremities, such as hands and feet. The shadowed mask can be transparent, but has also been described as dark black static. Shadow people are often thought to be male in appearance, although children and women have been described in accounts. Shadow people move quickly, are able to disappear into walls, through doors, etc. Many people claim to be able to see a shadow people easier through peripheral vision, especially when a shadow is moving, often causing witnesses to feel like they are being watched. Many times shadow people are just afraid as those who see them. It is common for them to run and hide. There are some ill-willed specters who attack while in shadow form, sometimes while people are in bed. Yeah, look at that. Look at that image. They did a great job with this image. Is that not the worst thing you could expect to ever see when you wake up?
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be horrible. And so many people describe just this. Like this is what they wake up to, and then they might be sleep paralysis or something else that accompanies it. But what a horrible, horrible thing. Black mists, dark ectoplasm, moving shadows. This is one of the most common of these shadow people sightings. Many times the shadow person may not keep their shape when moving fast or be seen as a dark mist before becoming fully visible. They are intelligent and tend to frighten people who cannot readily identify them as a human form.
You think?
Animal-shaped shadow ghosts. Sometimes animals are seen as apparitions or in a shadowed form. It is more common to see smaller animals as lower to the ground moving shadows, which makes sense because I imagine they would manifest the form they were most familiar with.
Right.
Eyewitness accounts of shadow animals are less common than sightings of shadow people. Other types of shadow people, it's not uncommon for people to see a shadow ghost peeking from around a corner. That's exactly that video we just watched. That
The tentacle hand.
that tentacle hand. That was so horrible.
Well, and then there was that one TikTok video too. Of
Yes,
the dogs.
exactly.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, that was another great capture. I'm really, really pretty convinced that was the real thing too. I think both of these are extraordinary captures. Now, could they be fake? Sure, but on face value, they look like the real deal. And it says this is likely because they can remain more covert, blending in with the shadows. The ghosts of children are smaller and often tend to be more playful. Both adult and child will sometimes peer around corners or from behind objects to see if the coast is clear to move about. Shadow ghosts have also been seen wearing hats. It's not uncommon for people who are disembodied to still mentally project their image wearing clothing. Apparitions of people attest to this fact, as sightings of see-through ghosts are often described as wearing clothes or period dress from the era. Many believe the Hat Man type of ghost to be something otherworldly, but their traits seem to be human. That's true, but they are often witnessed with red glowing eyes, which I would think wouldn't be as common for a human apparition. Other strange abnormalities associated with shadow ghosts tend to be disturbing to people. Red eyes or horns, for example, make this type of shadow ghost seem demonic in appearance. Our investigations and experiments with such entities revealed them to be ghosts, very capable of altering appearances in order to deceive and frighten victims. Just like there are people who frighten us here, in the physical world, there are ghosts of people who choose to exhibit the same behavior after their body has expired.
Bastards.
Now, this I would like to point out as a nod to Animalien, or however you say it. I think there's a different pronunciation for the show, but they do now have a podcast too. And if you're interested in checking it out, I think that'd be great. I'd like to promote what they're doing, because they have all this wonderful resources out here for us to learn and such. So
Hey, you know what'd be really cool?
what?
Is if they promoted what we're doing.
Well, if we do something that they use, I'm sure they'll promote us as well. We're more observers and consumers of information than we are creating it. Although I'd like to think that the narrative of our shows is informative. At least I'd like to think so. But it may or may not be. I think it is, though. But that's a really cool article, and they did a nice job on that. A lot of those points I would absolutely agree with. That just because it appears as a shadowy apparition doesn't mean it's a shadow people, which again is often translated as these horrible things you don't want in your house or surroundings. But so what was that?
That was the thing here.
Oh, the thing here?
Yeah, the thing here.
All right.
Oh, it needs to be. Yeah. Shout out to Cade, Peter Turk.
Peter Turk, Cade. Yeah, I was just thinking about Peter Turk. I haven't listened to his songs lately. I got to turn on his music again. He's a brilliant songwriter, ladies and gentlemen. If you go to Spotify, look for Peter Turk. And just his songs are great. They're I don't know, they're almost retro but modern. They're retro modern.
Modern retro?
Yeah, it's just they got some vibes that reminisce of the 60s and 70s, and then there's I don't know, really good hooks, great melodies, good songs. But yeah. And then of course our friend Cade, who is Cade?
Who?
Cade Moya.
Oh, that guy down under.
That guy down under, who is the creator and host of the Believe podcast. A good friend of ours and longtime supporter of the Portal. Been a guest here many times as well.
He has, yeah. Apparently he moved. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't.
He was in the middle of moving. Apparently he's into his new house, has a new studio, and
Very nice, very nice. Well done. Hope you're all settled. Hope the family's great. But let's get to the last article. The last one I got pulled up. We'll see where we end up with time here. But this one I thought would be kind of fun to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody loves some time storms in the Matrix. This is another article from Animalien.com. True accounts of rips in the Matrix of time and reality. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, from Animalien or Anomalien. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how they pronounce it because it really struck me as odd, but I can't seem to remember. It's kind of like the Adirondack. Did I say it right?
You said it right.
Yeah, well, you
The
trained me.
Adirondacks,
You
yeah.
trained me.
Wow.
I would always think Adirondack. I could not say Adirondack to save my life. So
Wow.
I don't know. It's Midwest palate of mine. All right. So this is Time Storms in the Matrix. True accounts of rips in the Matrix of time and reality. The more we learn about the nature of reality, the more mysterious it seems. Yeah, exactly. As we're learning more and more about the quantum and such. Oh, my God. That's so true. Fantasies like the Matrix film propose that life, as we know it on this planet, is nothing more than a highly complex computer simulation generated and imposed on our minds by sophisticated machines. Yet we might not have movies like The Matrix if it weren't for the discovery of the perplexing but apparently real nature of the world on a subatomic level. On this quantum level, if we understand it correctly, the matter seems to exist as both particles and waves, or the potential to be either. And how it ultimately behaves is determined by observation. Very true. I think that's one of the biggest signs of how powerfully we manifest. Because if the very fabric of our universe is bent to our will, then that's incredible. This highly complex subject and well beyond the scope and depth of this article, but It may be that reality at a subatomic level or quantum level may be determined by our own consciousness. Not all scientists quite agree with that conclusion, but it is a possibility. The bottom line is the universe may be a set of probabilities, and the world we experience day to day is just the most probable. That's a good point. This notion leads to the concept of multiple universes or dimensions created by other probabilities, time travel, and other mind-bending ideas. So as fantastic as the Matrix may be, reality may be far stranger. Glowing clouds, the Oz factor, and strange phenomena. One aspect of that strangeness is covered with great intelligence and forthrightness in Jenny Randall's book, Time Storms, Amazing Evidence for Time Warps, Space Rifts, and Time Travel. In it, she makes a convincing case that time travel is not only possible, but that it may be taking place regularly around the world. Randalls lays the groundwork for such possibilities by explaining the current scientific thinking about quantum physics and the nature of time in layman's terms. Her explanations are clear and pretty easy to understand, which is quite a feat for such a complicated subject. And the reason for laying this groundwork is to offer a possible explanation for many highly strange, can we call them paranormal, experiences people have had that seem to indicate tears, warps, or leaps in the fabric of time. These fascinating anecdotes which Randalls has collected from all over the world are the meat of the book. And they all have one common element, a peculiar energy cloud that can transport people, and very often their vehicles, into some unknown dimension. The results for these people can be missing time from just minutes to days, disorientation, what Randalls calls the Oz factor, teleportation over impossible distances, electronic failure, gravity anomalies, and other phenomena. These peculiar glowing clouds, time storms, just may be an explanation for the variety of paranormal phenomena, including ghosts, spirits, synchronicity, deja vu, UFOs, and what is thought of as alien abductions. Randall suggests that none of this is paranormal at all, but that these time storms are just a scientific reality that we do not understand yet. Here are just a few of the true accounts from time storms. Putre, Chile, 1977. At 3:50 a.m. on April 24th, during Army training exercises, a guard saw two fuzzy violet lights descending from the mountain and heading their way. At 4:15 a.m., Corporal Armando Valdez set out into the dark to investigate them. He returned 15 minutes later, but from the opposite direction in which he set out. He seemed to be in kind of a trance, muttering, "You do not know who we are or where we come from." Inexplicably, the corporal had several days' growth of beard, and his watch had stopped at 4:15, but showed a date of April 30th. It says, Oxford, Maine, at 3 a.m. on October 27th, David Stevens, 21, and 18-year-old friend were in a wooded area when they heard a strange sound. They got in their car to go investigate, and when the vehicle was soon enveloped in a colored glow. There was a blink in reality, and two instantly found themselves about a mile away with the car pointing in the opposite direction. They subsequently suffered various physical abnormalities, including severe disorientation. Somerset, England, 1974. On July 28th, Peter Williamson was having a barbecue in his backyard garden, which was interrupted by a heavy electrical storm. His dog, spooked by the threatening atmosphere, cowered under a tree. Peter went to rescue the animal, and there was a bright flash. Peter vanished into thin air, and police were called, and a thorough investigation and search were conducted without success. At 8 a.m. 3 days later, Peter was found in some nearby bushes with 1 foot in a pond, as if he had just appeared there out of nowhere. Linhares, Brazil, 1981. On April 20th, Jorge Ramos, who was representative for a chemical company, left his home at 6 p.m. to travel a few miles to go to a meeting. He never arrived. His Volkswagen was found on the side of the road a few miles from his home. The keys were still in the ignition, and all his business and personal effects were in the car. Police investigators could not account for what happened to Jorge or where he was. 5 days later, his wife received a frantic call from Jorge. He said that while driving his car, he was covered in a strange white glow, after which he found himself in a dreamy, floating state. He came to standing by an unfamiliar road and sought help. To his shock, he discovered that the date was now April 25th, and he was 600 miles away from home. This is just a small sampling of the many true accounts offered in Randall's book, and she says there are many, many others that she did not include. The time storm phenomena seems to happen with some regularity, and many might never be reported.
Wow.
You know, that's the other side of it, Don. I mean, with any of this stuff, we're marveling at what we do know.
Right.
How much is there going on that we don't know, though? How many people don't come forward and try to talk about their events?
Right. Well, you know, and that might be, I wonder if that might also contribute to the missing 411 thing.
Yeah.
Because people are just out there, and who knows if a time storm blows through and psh,
Right.
bloop, bye-bye.
You know, that glowing mist thing is interesting because there was another story that we covered sometime a while back, and I think it was from Alaska, maybe, but definitely up north somewhere, and maybe in Canada or Alaska. But this, what was it? This couple was, or this group of friends was out looking to go to this one place, and it was like a graveyard that they stumbled on. And I'm just paraphrasing it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to butcher the hell out of it, but I'll get the meat of it right. And basically, they were what they found themselves in a graveyard, and the graveyard was built onto a slope, and so the slope is coming towards them. Their car is parked at the bottom of it, and there's the headstones and stuff. But as they stood there, there was a weird glowing mist that seemed to descend down the hill towards them. Well, they had flashlights, you know, and it was nighttime. So they shone their flashlights, and as soon as they shone their flashlights at this mist, it retreated away. It would back up and retreat back up the hill. If they turned their lights off, it would descend again. And they repeated this several times until one couple finally decided to just go check it out. And so they marched uphill, and it's a wooded area that they were in with the cemetery around or whatever. And they took a step into the fog, and as soon as they did, they emerged on this grassy plain hilltop. And behind them was the fog, so they couldn't see. But suddenly their whole terrain had changed. Now, had they gone to another dimension? Had they teleported somewhere else in the world? It's unsure, but they said that they looked around a little bit, but then went back into the fog, and as soon as they did, boom, they're back in the cemetery, and it's nighttime. So when they went through the thing, it was daytime on a grassy hill with plains spreading out before them, as I recall. But when they went back through again, it's nighttime.
Right.
And they're up in that mountain area with the cemetery.
It wasn't that a phone call we received? Somebody told us that live.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it was a
now
live story. They called in. And told
right.
that story.
Somebody shared that story with us. That was their experience.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fascinating. In fact, I hope we can figure out. God, it would be almost impossible with 800 and some episodes.
Yeah, it's like.
But it was this amazing story of the flashlight and this mist transporting them away, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you're going through our archives, if you are one of the people that's checking out our 850 other shows that are on the YouTube archives, you can, if you come across stories like that you think are really poignant or funny moments or whatever, we still want to do our listener favorites reel.
Yes.
So if you would just send us an email, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, say, hey, I was checking out your old episodes. I came on this episode at about this timestamp. I love this part. You know, put that in the reel for me.
Yeah.
We would really like to do that. So far, we've had that offer out there for a long time. And we've had nobody do it yet. So if you're interested in being a part of our fan favorites, we'll, of course, put your name on screen as this is submitted by blah, blah, blah. We'd love to have you participate in that because I don't know. I mean,
we can't choose fan favorites ourselves.
yeah, it just doesn't
We
sound
need our
right.
fans to choose fan
Your
favorites.
favorite is beans.
Oh, God.
If you haven't been around for a long time, you won't understand that. But basically, Don was
So you won't
mispronouncing.
understand it, but he'll tell you all about it.
Don was mispronouncing. We're doing a show on like a black-eyed adults and black-eyed, or we're doing black-eyed kids. But he was reading a story that had black-eyed beings in it, beings, and he kept saying beans, and I was like, what? So it was just this hilarious moment in our history. But great show. Well, thanks, Titan. Titan says it was a great show. That's awesome. That's the show. Wow.
There it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's it for us. Don, quickly.
Not me.
All right. Good night,
night.
everybody. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old.